You write a lot about creating reality television in the book. Mm-hmm. Is that something you would ever consider doing more of in your future?
Writing books?
Reality television.
Reality TV.
I think it's a misnomer that people think that we're against reality TV. It's not having any control or any request in your involvement and just someone just deciding for you without ever asking you.
But
that's the issue.
That being said, I would say it's a little too soon for me. I don't know. It's a little too soon, a little too triggering probably to just jump into a reality TV show at this point.
But there's interest?
I don't know.
On your terms, executive producing it,
We're
maybe?
not saying no, never. Okay. I definitely think there would have to be
yeah, I was gonna ask you, what would it take?
Things in place.
I feel like this is like middle school relationship type.
Not
never, but.
Well, I'm one to be wary of saying like, no, absolute. Like, I don't like absolutes a lot of times. So
because you might in 5-10 years decide that
I can't say how I would change, but I do know that I would be very careful. If it were to be something that we were involved in, I would not want it to be centered around our kids. I know growing up in reality TV, I feel like the problem comes when you make everything centered around your children, where then they have to supply the content. And so I would want to be very careful and protective. I don't think that my parents set out, I think they had our best interests in mind initially, but I think you have to be careful. You have to be aware of the pitfalls. And I'm very aware, having grown up in television, where I would want to protect our children.
So kids completely not allowed to be on camera? Or would you allow them to kind of come in for a fun family moment, here and there?
I don't even know. I mean, we're not thinking reality TV right now, so I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of like social media. A lot of people can relate on the social media front. There are vloggers, there are people who have their entire life on their Instagram or whatever, TikTok, and I'm like, we have had a YouTube channel, but we kind of, I don't know. It's one of those processes. As we're processing things, we're kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this, that's where I'm at with it. At least I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. And so until I know, I'm going to err on the safe side and just take a step back and protect my kids, not show their faces, not tell every little happening of their lives to people that I don't even know.
With counting the cost.
Yes.
Who is the one member of your family that you hope most reads the book?
I don't have a one member in my family who I'm just hoping reads the book. I didn't write the book to try and change like my parents or get at somebody or whatever. I really wrote the book as our story to help other people who I had talked to, who felt validated, who came away saying, I felt these same feelings of isolation, and I felt like it bred this control aspect that's not healthy, and I feel validated in that. So that's who I wrote the book for. Now I will say that, again, I think it could be helpful for some of my siblings to read, and one, to hear our perspective on our story that may have been filtered, that they may have heard a filtered version of. I think that it could be helpful for them to hear our story, but then also I think it could be freeing for them, for some of my siblings who maybe have started to live a different path that they feel called to, and it doesn't have to be different. Like, I'm just about like you finding what, like being able to live your life as a couple or as an individual, that you feel called by God to live and not just being controlled. So I think if that helps them and frees them and gives them their voice and empowers them, then I think that's amazing. And I would love for all of them to read it.
Derick and Jill, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Derick, you may kiss the bride.
You're about to come up on 10 years of marriage. What does life look like for the Dillards today?
I think right now I'm embracing the day-to-day, like living in the moment, cherishing the time with our kids. I planted a huge garden this year. getting my hands in the dirt was like amazing.
Empowering, yeah.
I went out there with a tiller. I bought a tiller, y'all. I was like, I'm going to till this ground.
I come home from work one day and she's like, so I bought a tiller today and I'm tilling up the backyard. I was like, I like food.
I made him mow the yard, but I was gonna till. Like I got out there. It was so fun though.
Almost 10 years in, and your wife is still surprising you.
Oh yeah. It's always an adventure. Like marriage is great.
This entire interview, if anyone hasn't seen, Jill and Derick have been holding hands the entire interview.
So she can communicate.
Yeah, that's the funny answer. That's a funny answer.
It really is.
I can feel the bond and connection is so deep between the two of you. Jill, if you hadn't crossed paths with this man, where do you think your life would be today? What would it look like?
I feel awkward.
I'm just so grateful for my husband. So grateful that God brought us together.
You've got 3 beautiful boys. Is the family complete, or do you think about expanding further?
I told him when I was pregnant last time, I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The family-
Okay.
yeah,
We'll see.
it's always complete. It just becomes complete again.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Like
it's
your heart
complete
continues
now.
to expand.
Yeah, and
Yes.
Jill, like she talks about living in the moment. Like
Yeah.
every day, we're just gonna, if there's something we need to do today to affect something that's gonna happen later, we'll do that today, but not worry about it past that.
Okay. Marriage is rock solid. The kids are absolutely adorable. I know growing up you didn't get a ton of access to popular mainstream media. As a married couple, I mean, are you Netflix and chilling?
I think what's funny is that like in public school, I was the sheltered kid, and then compared to Jill, like I was like the most worldly, most exposed, like know every movie under the sun. I'm like, we don't have a lot of time, so like it's hard.
Yeah.
Once the kids go to bed, we're just exhausted. I think any parent can relate to that with.
Yeah.
If you have
Something.
30 minutes, what are you turning on?
Probably The Office, Parks
The
and
Office,
Rec.
yeah, Parks and Rec.
Like
yeah.
when the kids are here, like I told you earlier, we've been on a Brady Bunch kick. So they've been watching. They'll
Literally,
say,
yeah.
do we have time for Brady Bunch? Get your PJs on, brush your teeth, and we'll watch some Brady Bunch.
I can't tell you how wonderful it is to sit here today with you with a massive smile on your face. It feels like you're in the best season of your life. You have this beautiful blonde hair and a cool nose ring and cool jeans.
Thanks.
How do you describe this era of Jill?
You describe it probably better.
I think
I don't
just
know, like
being yourself.
yeah.
Like
Do you
I
feel
think
free?
you should always be yourself.
Comfortable.
Like, don't be someone that you're not.
Do you feel like you weren't yourself before you were able to make these choices?
I feel like I was myself way back, like different, but I was under, I don't even know how to explain it, but anyways, I feel like I've changed as a person in a healthy way. So I feel like I'm a healthier version of what I am supposed to be, I would say that one theme that I really wanted to come across in the book as well was just that I do love my family. I'm not going to always agree, and I think that's healthy to be able to agree to disagree on things, to recognize though those roses with the thorns as well that I talk about in the book, where it's okay to have positive and negative experiences and to appreciate the positive while not appreciating the negative. So yeah, those roses and thorns experiences, everybody's gonna have them, and you don't have to just, while it may be triggering at times to remember or to look back, I think part of that healthy healing is to still be able to recognize both experiences.
Of course, we grew up watching you and your siblings on TV and really adoring the dynamic that all of you had together. Today, where do your relationships with your siblings stand? Who would you say you're closest with?
Yeah, so I have some really great relationships with a lot of my siblings. And at different times, I feel like it's more just like a season of life thing where
We both have kids in diapers.
raising
Yes.
kids, birthdays,
Yes.
whatever. So I don't know. I've talked to Ginger a lot recently just because we're both going through the same book writing and releasing process.
Yeah.
So that's been so helpful. I think that all of my sisters, like I love hanging out with them when there's birthdays and brunch. We always try to do like a sisters brunch or birthday time. And my mom a lot of times will come too. Brothers, I like to get together with them too, whenever possible. So I love all my siblings, and I hope that they know that I love them too.